forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to be notified of future episodes.
Today we are going to Fiji. It is Sunday, 8 in the morning, and we're going to go and check out in an hour.
We had waited patiently for over 3 weeks for a suitable weather window, and now we finally had our chance. Excited?
Yeah, it's just a nice feeling just to be able to get off the dock now and go sailing.
Well, we are now officially no longer in New Zealand.
We've left the building.
So yeah, we've just got to go and pay our bill at the marina. And then we're off the dock. That's the shore power undone. We are officially cleared out and we are officially about to get off the dock.
See ya!
Bye!
And the trip has started.
Bye, Apua. Bye, New Zealand. Can I say though, it's just nice to be off the dock. Thinking that the wind was howling at 35-45 knots yesterday. It's pretty different out here now. Very pleasant start to the journey. Quite sad saying goodbye to New Zealand.
It is a glass out here. We were expecting light winds and to motor, but we've got 2 knots at the moment. It's a nice introduction actually. It's always a bit hairy. In the past, getting off New Zealand, you normally do it in 20 plus knots and then going into a night. So we've been fortunate this time that we've had the whole day to settle in, and the first couple of days we're planning on motoring until the wind picks up. It is day 2, it is the morning, and we have 1 knot of wind. That's all we have to report today. Engines are on, sea state is calm, sun is trying to peek out from the clouds. We're just going to have a look at the predict wind update and see how much longer we have to have the engines on, but it's probably going to be another half a day to a day. Caught a bit of a current now, so that's behind us. That's helping, and we're averaging 5.5 knots, so just burning diesel. Having a fairly frustrating evening trying to sail, and with the various squalls that are coming through. When the wind is up, it's usable, but it's only staying up for a minute or 2 at a time, and then it's just changing direction by about 40 degrees, 50 degrees. Just have to have a little think about it for a couple of minutes and then see where we go from there. How's your sleep going, Joe?
I had a lovely sleep this afternoon. It's a little bit bouncy because we're beating into it. Actually, it's calmed down somewhat now. We're about to get a stunning sunset. But yeah, we're chugging along at the regal pace of 3.9 knots, but we don't have the engines on. But it's been an alright day, hasn't it? We've had the engines off since 9 o'clock this morning. We're not breaking any world speed records, but also we're not using diesel, which is fine. It's been a beautiful day on the water. So, the captain has clicked on in the engine bay, as he has discovered we have a small diesel leak from the filter.
Yeah, the nuts work loose. It holds the bolt together. Just tighten it up, it's all good, I think.
So what's the verdict?
It's all good. It's the guy who serviced them last's fault, so we need to fire him, I think. No, the thread had just worked its way loose, I think, so the seals weren't sealing because there wasn't enough pressure on it, so it's a fairly easy fix. But we'll keep an eye on it and see how we go.
Good morning. It is Wednesday morning and it is a grey and a rainy day. My shift is up soon and I have had a very interesting time where I've seen everything from 4 knots of wind to 25 knots of wind. It was fine and starry one minute, it was lashing with rain the next. We've had squall after squall blow through. We've had a wind shift finally from the northeast through to the northwest and now to the west. I think that's going to come around southwesterly today, which will be nice because hopefully the ocean will follow suit and become a following sea rather than us beating into it. So it's been a frustrating 12 hours overnight and we are now doing approximately 3 knots, but I refuse to put an engine on.
We're sailing! Yay! So we are wing on wing going dead downwind with 12 to 15 knots, which is good. We've been toying with getting the parasailer out. When we were running all the lines and getting everything ready, it was gusting over 20 knots. We can only fly the parasailer under 20 really. We've set the sails up. It's fairly easy to manage, and it also is giving Jo a chance to catch up on some sleep, so it means I don't disturb her. Being two-handed, you have to be aware of everyone's mental state. If they're all busy in their rest period, then they don't actually have any downtime, and it just wears you out after a while. We're expecting some big gusts overnight as well, so now the sails are set. We can manage these quite easily single-handed when there's night watches going on. Just part of being a short-handed crew, I suppose. But we've been sailing all day. We're doing 7 knots. We're making up some good time.
Very industrious in here, my lovely.
Making chili.
It smells fab.
With my secret sauce. The chipotle adabo peppery goodness.
We love that.
Use carefully.
Hot there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Smells great.
Yep, that's how we roll. Thursday morning, and we've had an eventful evening. We did get some news overnight. There was a boat that left at the same time of us called Squanto. They were going Apua to Tonga, and we just heard that they had a rig issue 350 miles off the coast. So there was a Mayday briefly for that, which they've now downgraded. And apparently their mast is damaged. They've lost some shrouds on one side and some chain plates. So apparently everyone is well on board, but they have turned around and they are motoring back to Apua. So they've got 4 people on board and hoping that they're going to be okay. With us, we've been sailing nicely wing on wing, dead downwind. This morning, about an hour ago, we had a squall come through that picked everything up from a nice steady 12 knots to 30 plus. So I brought the head sail in and got the boat up into the wind and ended up just dropping all the canvas. And we're currently in fairly confused seas, just doing a little bit of motor sailing and having a wait for these squalls to go through, and then we will carry on sailing.
We have had a batten come loose on the boom. That was on the other side, trying to fix it. Here's my hubby.
Hello. So the problem is, these boxes are plastic, and in that last squall, when we were dropping the sail, it obviously flogged and it's come away at the thread. So I'm going to try and reinstall it, and when I do, I'll just probably have to over thread it and see if it will hold for the rest of the trip. I think it will.
So this is where it's come unscrewed.
Yeah, it should. The thread seems fine, so.
Put it back in for the rest, right?
Yeah, I'll just tighten it in a bit further than maybe it was, and then there's good thread behind it, and then we'll see how we get this puppy reinstalled.
Okay. Boat jobs in the middle of the ocean.
least it's a little bit calm when we're downwind.
Yeah, it's nice.
So I've just put a second reef in. Currently tracking on the radar and just seeing if this little weather system off to our left hand side is going to affect us. Winds are starting to get up now. So here's a squall now. I've actually just wound the head sail in a wee bit more, slowed the boat down. We're only doing 4 knots, just letting this thing blow over us. We're not going to outrun it, and I'd rather not be in the middle of it. It seems to be passing through quite quick. How's the trip so far for you, Jo?
It's just been a bit changeable because we've had to deal with a lot of squalls coming in, and that's always a pain in the arse because you get the boat all settled down and then a big squall comes in and then you've got to drop the sails and it spins the wind around the thing and blah blah blah, rah rah, moan moan, groan groan. So it's very rolly and very noisy, and I've ceased trying to sleep, so I've just had a coffee. Can't sleep, be awake for the rest of the day, I say. So that's my day.
It's just gone midnight. Bit of a wild and woolly night. We've seen 27 knot gusts. The weather today's been a little bit weird. Lots of squalls coming through. Yeah, we made a call that putting 2 reefs in would probably be prudent, and it's proving the case. We've got things falling off. Hang on. Sorry about that. Seas have got up. Just trying to keep the boat calm, to be honest, so that we can rest. Just trucking on, making good miles. Still doing 7 knots. We are going downwind. And
who's in the air?
Percy. So, but yeah, it means that the boom banging is gone and it's a lot smoother, which is nice. The wind has now fallen off enough that it's about 12 to 15 knots, which is perfect. We've just been waiting for the right conditions. So I think we've got them now. It's all good.
Percy's down now.
Yeah, this wind and weather is just annoying, to be honest. So we had a calm day and then a squall came through and sucked all the wind away, and now we've got 24 knots. So
double reef main sail.
Double reef main, double reef heady, and the seas have picked up because of the wind. So
Rolliness a bit.
and we had this all last night as well. So not easy to sleep either. So but it's all good.
We've got wind.
We're making miles. We're doing 7.5 knots. Yes, and we're past the halfway point, which is awesome.
It's not often that we encounter another boat whilst on an ocean passage. However, it was a delight to see Ice Bear pop up on our AIS.
Excellent.
We've been chatting back and forth via the Iridium email, but it was nice to have a proper conversation for once.
How lovely. After 7 days of only talking to you. No offence, darling.
From stunning sunsets to sudden squalls to spectacular sunrises, the ocean is ever changing, and you never quite know what you're going to see next. In this instance, it was humpback whales. Always a joy.
Oh, it's so exciting. Hello, beauties. Hello.
I reckon. Beautiful. Lovely to see.
The moon up there. Engine's on because it's a little bit flat calm. And a stunning sunset happening over here. No green flash tonight, babe. The very tragic news yesterday that Squanto had abandoned ship. As we reported a few days ago, Forfar and Sally had turned back to New Zealand after one of Squanto's chain plates failed and severely damaged their rigging. We had been following their progress with fingers crossed, but received the news yesterday that they had made the incredibly difficult decision to abandon ship. They had battled high winds and seas since turning back, and the repairs to the rig were severely compromised. They were plucked from their life raft by New Zealand Search and Rescue and were delivered back to Auckland, thankfully safe and well. Squanto was recovered a few days later and towed back to shore, but was sadly too damaged to repair. On a much happier note, Forfar, Sally and their crew were safe and well, and Forfar and Sally have since gone on to purchase another boat. We hope to see them back out on the ocean sometime soon.
Land ho! 13:13 on the 17th of June. We can see, I think that's Matuku Island, is it? According to the map. It's off in the distance, but it is most definitely land. Yeehaw! And we've only got 190 miles to go or something like that. Awesome. It's nice to know that we've ended up in the vicinity. Well, we hope it's Fiji. Unless we've gone wrong somewhere.
No, it's all winding up.
It's always good when a plan comes together.
So my angel, we are going into what looks like it might be our last overnighter
Yeah.
of the trip. We should hopefully be there probably late tomorrow evening.
It's almost a straight run in now with the wind on the beam or just after the beam, so it should be nice, and we're hoping the swell will reduce a little bit as we come into the island group a little, and there'll be less fetch and stuff, so we'll see how that goes.
It's been a pretty bouncy day, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, but you know, it's been some good sailing, so we've got some good miles. Savusavu itself, if we go down the creek, it's full of moorings and it's a pretty challenging night approach just for all the hazards. So
that's where the copra shed is, where we check in.
And that's where we do all the clearances. So if the timing doesn't work out, then we're actually going to anchor off just before Savusavu, and then when it's light, we'll up anchor and then go into the creek. This is the last night at sea, but we have a beam sea happening. Got about 20 knots, 2 reefs in. We've slowed the boat down. We've been doing 7.5, 8 knots most of the day, and we've just tried to set the boat up so that we can sleep actually. I don't know if it's working particularly well. We're getting good boat speed, but it's just noisy. So we are just having to deal with it because we're wanting to get in tomorrow afternoon, and at the moment that means we've got to do at least 6 knots. So we're doing at least 6 knots.
We are about 4 hours out of Savusavu, which is the port that we will be clearing into. Hurrah! We had a bit of a boisterous night, a very boisterous night, because we had seas on the beam and wind on the beam. But other than that, it was all okay. We made good time, and we are now got the wind virtually up our bum, but we're managing to sail. But I'm very, 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 very much looking forward to getting in. It's been a very boisterous last, 36 hours?
Yeah.
48 hours?
48 probably.
It's time to sleep in a bed that isn't moving and bouncing around all over the place, I think.
Feels like it's been quite a long trip, really.
It does. It's been 9 whole days, but it does feel like a long trip. It's been frustrating, I think, with wind angles and things. But other than that, really nothing else to whinge about. We're nearly there. Well, we are about an hour out of Savusavu and officially in quarantine. So Rob's out the front, just putting the yellow quarantine flag on. Hopefully we'll make customs and excise before their overtime charges kick in at 4:30, because it's jolly expensive to clear in after that. Copra Shed, good afternoon. This is the sailing vessel Double Trouble. Over.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Savusavu.
Thank you very much indeed. It's very, very nice to be back. So, we're in Savusavu. Well, we're just outside the entry to the creek down to the Copra Shed.
And we radioed them and they said, yeah, we've got a berth for you. We've got no moorings, but we've got a berth. Tie up starboard side. And then we radioed them back and said, oh, we didn't ask what number berth it was. And they went, we don't have a berth for you. Right, okay, so we're going to ring the other marina and see if they've got a mooring ball. So we're holding station at the mouth of the creek until they let us know where they're going to put us onto a mooring ball. We shall see. For now, just driving round in circles.
Join us next week as we finally make it onto the dock and check into Fiji. If you're enjoying our videos, then we would love you to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to leave us a comment and give us a thumbs up below. Thanks for watching.